So I'm deciding to start a video. I've never done a video before. I am 5 days post-op, and just got back from Mexico. So I woke up a while ago, and I just started reflecting on my journey so far. And I also wanted something to be able to look back on, because I hear from a lot of people that, sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. So I want to be able to look back on something I've been really nervous about. So my apologies if this doesn't go smoothly, because I've never done one before. So yeah, I'm 5 days post-op. I just got back from Mexico the night before last at midnight. And I'm just thinking about when my journey started in 2017, and all the ups and downs, and people that were supportive and people that weren't supportive. And then they came around, and now they're a little bit more supportive. And just in this moment, I'm really feeling blessed. Like, wow. Even my kids, like last night, my daughter camped downstairs with me. I didn't want to sleep in the bed. And so I ended up sleeping downstairs. And as you can see, she decided to camp out downstairs with me. So she's still sleeping. So let's see, my journey. I started in 2017. I had Medi-Cal at the time. I was a student, and I wasn't working enough hours to have insurance through my job. So I was going through Medi-Cal. And the process, I did a whole bunch of research, found a really, really good doctor out here through Sutter, who I love. Hello, Priscilla, from New Mexico. So I found the surgeon, and I went through the process. Medi-Cal told me that I had to do a minimum of 6 nutrition classes, and I had to lose 10% of my body weight. Well, when I started this and I stepped on the scale, I was 401. And I remember when I hit 300, I can't do this. I need to do something else. Hey, Lindsay. Hey, Pixie. And so I started losing the weight, and I was 8 pounds away, and I got a promotion at my job, and my insurance changed. And of course, I got discouraged, and I stopped losing the weight. This is over like an 8 or 9 month period. Good morning, Stephanie. And so I started gaining the weight back. And once I got my insurance settled at work, it was still through the same insurance company, or it was still through the same surgeon. And they said I would have had to start the process all over again. And I was so discouraged. Like, I don't want to go through having to lose the weight again, go through the nutrition classes, the psych eval, all of those things. So I decided to start looking into having it done in Mexico. And actually, I'd saved up some money to, I don't know if the video cut out or not. I had saved up some money to start my private practice. And so at that point, I was thinking, okay, I can use the money that I saved up to start private practice to go and have the surgery in Mexico, or I can go through this other year-long process. And I just remember how unhappy I was with everything that was going on in my life. My kids were playing basketball. I wasn't able to really play with them the way that I used to be able to. I was pulling away, being a lot less social, just so many things. The weight and how I felt in my own body had such a huge impact on so many different aspects of my life. So I decided to move forward with using the money to get it done in Mexico. So that's what I decided. And I remember I decided, and I told my partner first. And my partner was like, okay. He's pretty supportive overall. Overall, he's very supportive. But I think he was like, really, Mexico? Okay. And then surprisingly, I told my kids. I sat them down and I talked to them about, the process that I had started, and talked to them about what their concerns were, what they were excited for. It's funny, my son's biggest excitement is being able to finish the food that I cannot eat. He's a big boy, he eats a lot. So, and then I knew that it was going to be very difficult to share the news with my parents. So, well, more specifically, my mom. So I told my mom, and she went off. Like, I remember I called her, and she was like, excuse my language, what the fuck? Why would you do this? And you're going to Mexico? You know, a lot of people have the thought. I think a couple years ago, when I heard of some, I remember thinking, okay, have you done your research? Like, I remember being so dumb and uneducated on all of that. And so I kind of had to put myself in a place where I could understand from my mom's perspective, like she just doesn't know. But at the same time, that's my mom. I wanted her support. And so, yeah, so I told her, and it was very hard. She was like, I can't be on the phone with you right now. She got off the phone. And of course, not only was I telling her about it, but I was asking her if she would, keep my kids while I was in Mexico. Hey, Charlotte, from Scotland. Wow. Oh, thank you, Nicole. Thank you. So let's see. Oh, so I was asking her if she could also watch my kids. I would be gone for a week in Mexico. They would still need to go to school and all of those things. So she agreed eventually to keep the kids. And I remember every time I would go around her, she'd be like, did you write letters to them in case something happens to you in Mexico? And I just remember feeling like, I don't even want to entertain that energy. I don't want to entertain that thought, that idea. I'm a huge energy person, and I'm just like, no, I haven't written them letters, but we've talked about it. And so I went through the journey. I didn't have to lose any weight, but I wanted to. I thought the clear liquid diet was going to murder me. But I felt confident in that I would be able to do it, you know. And so I started off by a month before my surgery date. I cut out fast food and sodas, which wasn't too hard. I'm a juice drinker anyway. And then I just started trying to make better choices in what I was eating at work. At my job, we have staff meetings that are, potluck and all of those things. And people started noticing, like, hey, we're going to go out and order food. Do you want something? And I would say no. And I would bring food from home. And it was just completely different. And I think people didn't really, I think they wondered, like, what's going on? Is she not, does she not want to hang out with us? And so, because of the job, I'm a therapist, but I run a crisis respite center, and so we're always busy, always on the go. There's always something going on. So ordering Postmates and DoorDash is like second nature to me. Like, oh, okay, I have a minute. Let me order some food and eat it at my desk while we're dealing with this crisis or while we're working with this or whatnot. And so I started having to, meal prep and pre-plan and life in itself. And so I went through all that, did all the research for the surgeon. I found a surgeon. I ended up going through ALO Bariatrics. Heard a ton of good things about them. And at the time, the person that does transportation for my job, she was saying that she was getting ready to go down to Mexico. And I said, oh, who are you going through? And she mentioned ALO Bariatrics. And I was like, oh, I was just researching them the other day. And so she had her surgery. She had a revision surgery, excuse me, I think about a month before me. So I was able to kind of watch her journey and see how hers was. So I got my surgery date, paid my deposit. Yeah, went down to Mexico, and it was absolutely beautiful down there. I almost bought a timeshare at the resort that we were at, but I didn't. But it's definitely a place that I want to go back to. The hospitality, the cleanliness of the hotel. Anyone that knows me, I have a huge phobia of needles. Not just like, I don't really like needles. I don't like getting stuck. I mean, who likes needles? But my phobia is huge. when I had my daughter in the hospital, when my brother and his wife arrived to the hospital, they heard me screaming and they thought that I was in labor, and I wasn't. I was getting the IV. I really don't do needles at all. So honestly, I was more nervous than I was about the surgery, which probably sounds crazy to a lot of you, but that's what it is for me. That's my reality. And so I was really nervous about that. And, I kept telling the people that were there, the nurses and everyone, like, I don't like needles. Can you give me a small needle for the blood draw? And they were saying, well, you can only do one size needle for the IV. And I'm like, but don't I have to get stuck twice? And they were saying no. Anyway, I was so nervous about that. And I was nervous about having to take injections afterwards for the blood thinners, because I heard a lot of people have to do that as well. Rebecca, it is something serious. And if I could digress just a little bit, it's always been more difficult for me with needles because I'm such a big girl. I'm 5'9.5". My starting weight was, when I started this process, was 413. That was my highest. And so whenever I like go to the dentist or go to the doctor, they're like, "You're a big girl. It's okay." Don't say that to me. That does not help. I know I'm a big girl. I know I'm a very strong person, but when it comes to needles, I'm just that's my weakness. And so hearing that all of my life, like, "Oh, you're a big girl. Oh, you could take it. Oh," it has done something to the story that I have. My narrative around needles is like, not only am I super fearful, but I also don't want to talk about it in front of people because you end up feeling shame about it. So anyway, I'm down there and super scared about the needles. And they come in with this IV, and I'm like, "You get one stick. You get one stick." Oh, so my veins don't roll, but they're very tiny, which I didn't really know until I had my daughter. So they had to use this little scanner thing. When it says on my screen that the broadcast paused, can y'all still hear me? I'm not really sure how it works. So anyway, they used this scanner to find where my veins were, and they tried the back of the hand, and I'm like going crazy. Still, I'm being still, and I'm like squeezing the hell out of my partner's hand. And I can see all the nurses looking around like, "Damn, is she okay?" Like, it's okay. And I'm trying to tell them, they speak English. I'm trying to tell them like this is a real phobia. But usually when I tell people that, they're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, we know. Nobody likes needle sticks." And I'm like, "No, this is different." And so, yeah, so they stuck me and it was hurting, and they couldn't get it. And I'm not looking, and I'm like asking my partner, "Did they get it? Did they get it?" And he's like, I don't know. I think he's trying not to tell me that they didn't get it. They pulled it out, and then they tried my other hand, then they brought more people in, and I'm like, "Okay, this is stick two." And I told y'all one stick. I can't do this. And so then they ended up getting it in my arm. Thank you, Latoya. Hello. And so they ended up doing it in my arm, which I guess they don't like to do it in the inside of your elbow because, you're bending your arm, and it could stop the flow or whatever. But that's where they ended up getting it. And they were like, "Keep your arm straight." And I made sure to keep my arm straight for most of the time because I did not want to be restuck. So actually, before they got it in, the doctor came in and was like, "We're going to give you some meds to calm you down for the surgery." And I was like, "I wish you had started with that." But they kept saying, like, "We want you to be calm for the surgery." And I don't think they understood that it wasn't the surgery that I was nervous about. It was the IV and the needle sticks. Yeah, so they gave me some meds, and like 20 minutes later, I couldn't really feel it, but maybe it was working. I don't know. They came back in. That's when they were able to stick me in my arm. And so, yeah, so then they wheeled me back, and I remember the anesthesiologist, I also sing. And so I was like, I remember I've had my gallbladder taken out, and I've had, we are sisters, Rebecca. I'm telling you, they don't understand the struggle is real when it comes to needle sticks. And crazy, I have 9 tattoos, okay? I can do tattoos, no problem. Injections and drawing blood, and I can't do it. And some people don't understand that either. Like, how do you have tattoos? It took me until I was 21, 22 to get a tattoo, actually, at one of my friend's house. I always wanted them, but I was so terrified of the needle. But anyway, so and they were listening to Christina Aguilera, and I remember the anesthesiologist was like so friendly and down to earth, and he was like, "Oh, I heard you gave him a hard time about the needles." I'm like, "Yeah, I have a phobia," and he's like, "No, you're just chicken shit," which was funny. I am a very humorous person, so I was able to laugh about that. So he's like singing Christina Aguilera, and I was like humming it, and he's like, "Oh no, you need to sing for me or whatever," and I'm like getting ready to lay on this operating table, like, and he's blasting Christina Aguilera, and I'm like singing, and I was actually fine. I wasn't super nervous about that part. I don't know why. And then yeah, and then I had the surgery, and I woke up, and I just remember being in this horrific pain. The gas pain was horrible. And I've read so many posts since I've started this journey in 2017. I've joined so many Facebook groups, read so many posts. Some people have gas, some people don't. Some people have a lot of pain, some people don't. So I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna write it out. Let's see. Oh, that's one of my whys for getting this surgery is that diabetes runs very heavy on my mom and my dad's side. And the doctor told me in 2017 that I was pre-diabetic. And I was terrified. I'm terrified of insulin, having to give myself an injection and check my blood every day. And I'm like, I got to do something about this weight. I was fairly healthy coming into it. Yes, pre-diabetic, no high blood pressure. Even though I'm big, I used to be fairly active as a big girl. Just over time, I've become less and less. But yeah, that was definitely one of my whys is being fearful of having to give myself injections and knowing that I probably would not do it. So, anyways, I came out of surgery. Oh, this gas pain was something that I really remember exactly what I was saying, but I know I was just like, oh, this pain is horrible. And they came and gave me an injection in my arm of some kind of pain meds. And then when that subsided, I was okay and I was up and walking. How much weight did you have to lose before the surgery? For my initial, when I was gonna go through the insurance, they said 10%, which ended up being like 40 something pounds. 48, I think, to be exact. Just because of the way that it worked, even though I was only 401 and then I went up to 408. But to go to Mexico, I didn't have to lose any. They did the pre-op diet, which was the clear liquids. Um, and so that was what they wanted you to do, but I didn't have to lose any amount of weight, which scared a lot of people too. Like, you need to lose weight before. It scared me a little bit. Um, I did end up losing, let's see, when I started my pre-op, I was 413. And the day that I went into the hospital, I was 396. So the liquid diet, I ended up losing like, I think that's almost 18, 20 pounds, something like that. Um, oh, Latoya, I'm so sorry. I just get anxiety just even thinking about that. Um, is it cheaper in Mexico compared to your copay with insurance? I actually don't know what it would have been. When I had Medi-Cal, no, I wouldn't have had to pay anything. Actually, I take that back. I did have to pay for some of the stuff, which the total cost would have been like 300 and something dollars. So hell no, it wasn't cheaper to go to Mexico than if you have Medi-Cal. I don't know with my job insurance. I don't know what it would have cost me. I signed up for pretty good insurance because I thought I was going to go through that process and having hospital stays. But then when I realized that I would have to go through that same process and it would be another 8 months to a year, I just decided no. So what I ended up paying for in Mexico, I would say that it was about 5,500. It was a couple hundred extra because I went to Puerto Vallarta instead of Tijuana, which I would do that again a million times over. It was the resort is just beautiful, and being able to be on the beach gives you some relief in recovery. And then because of my BMI, if your BMI is over a certain point, and at 400 pounds, it's definitely over that point, I had to pay an extra 350 or 500. And then I ended up having a hiatal hernia, which a lot of people have that they had. And so with that, they charged an extra 350. So I think everything, if I was to include like airline and everything, I probably paid close to 6,000 for everything. And I would do it again. It was worth it. And so yeah, the only thing is that, like I said, that was money that I was going to be starting my private practice with here in Sacramento. And so I am now re-saving up for that, which is okay because I'll be healthier doing it and all of those things. And it's a journey. Can you make payments up front? So you can the deposit is $500. When you give them the date, they offer you dates. At least this is the place that I go through. I don't know how all of the places are, but Alo Bariatrics, when you secure a date, you give them a $500 deposit, and if there's an emergency, they will refund it, which I that. Um, and then the balance is due when you get there. So right before I went into surgery, guaranteed, they came in and got the money. You get a $200 discount. $200 discount if you pay cash. So I was like, do I want to save $200 and pull out all that money in cash? And I just did it, and I carried it with me on the plane, and everything was fine. So yeah, I paid everything else. What kind of business? I am a marriage and family therapist. I'm also a doctoral student working on my dissertation. And so I'm opening up a private practice of couples therapy. That's my passion. It's always been my passion. And so, yeah, I've gotten to the stage of I've done all my branding. I'm looking for office spaces. So yeah, that's my business. Currently, I run a crisis respite center for mental health individuals that are experiencing mental health crisis. Um, when did I have surgery? Leave. Um, thank you. Is it Michelle Bradley Williams? Thank you. Um, so let's see. Back to my story. So I came out of surgery, was in the pain. They gave me the shot. Okay, great. I like the unique spelling. It's nice. Um, so they gave me the injection. Um, thank you. Thank you. It's a long journey. My daughter, I think I've woken her up with with my story. You want to say hi? She's one of my biggest supporters. When I came back, I'm digressing a lot, and I'm sorry for y'all that I'm really digressing, but I came back to, she's really into arts and crafts, and she made me this card. It's a little heart, and it opens up, and it has a little message in it. And she talks about, she had a concert when I was gone. Um, and she says, can I read it? Are you good if I read it? Okay. It says, hey mom, I'm so proud of you and I missed you so much. I really wish you were at my concert, but it's life. You were very brave by doing this surgery, and that is amazing, just like you. I love you. Um, so, being able to have, like, my circle is very small, but being very open and honest with my kids about the journey and about my struggle is super important to me. And of course, as a therapist, I'm like, okay, I need to talk about feelings and emotions and all of those things. And so being able to talk about their fears and their concerns and still watch her be strong and camp out downstairs with me is just, it means a whole lot. And my son being strong in his own way and messaging me every day while I was out there and sending me messages and letting me know what's going on with all the girls that he's liking and all of those things is just their own little way of, staying connected. But anyway, Don, the shot was, what are we talking about? I was talking about my fear of needles. When I woke up and I was in a lot of pain, they gave me a shot of some painkiller. I don't know what the hell it was. But they gave me an injection, in which I didn't really even because I was in so much pain from the gas. And then it subsided and it was pretty good. And then I was so fearful of getting blood clots that I was just making sure that I walked a lot. Everyone's like, the best thing you could do is walk, walk, walk. So literally the doctor said every hour you need to walk 5 to 10 minutes, and I set my alarm at the top of every hour. I was walking, like making rounds around the hospital. And it didn't matter if I didn't want to get up, if I didn't feel like getting up, if I was comfortable, I was getting up. And so I was doing that. And then the doctor came in and told me that I had to get blood thinner injections, that I needed to get. They were going to give me one that day, and then they were going to give me three to take home. So, of course, y'all know what that was like for me. I was like, oh my God. Like injections, blood thinner, they're like, it's a tiny needle. It's like insulin. I'm like, I've never done insulin, but it doesn't matter. A needle's a needle's a needle. And so they're they're like, it's okay, like hella minimizing it. But of course me, I'm like, oh God. So I'm like getting worked up all over again. And they came in and they ended up doing the injection before I checked out the next day, and really was nothing. I'm not gonna say that too loud because I still had to be like, no, it's still bad. It really wasn't horrible. But even today, yesterday I was supposed to have my last injection, and I did not take it because I was sleeping when I was supposed to take it. But I still like, oh, am dreading like, oh shit, I still have this one last injection. But then when my partner does it, it's really not bad. Hey, thank you for tuning in. This is my first ever video, and I was really nervous at first because I'm just not in. But I wanted to be able to have something to reflect on and maybe talk to people about my journey. And yeah, so thank you for tuning in. So I stayed, so I got out to Mexico. I went to Mexico an extra day. I got out a day early because I'm like, how long was my hospital stay? I was in the hospital for one day. So with the package to go to Mexico, I was supposed to arrive on Monday, surgery's on Tuesday, and I leave on Sunday. I'm a water person. I love swimming. I love pools, jacuzzis, all that. So I decided to pay an extra 100 and go to Mexico a day early. When I looked at changing my flight a day early, I was like, why are these flights so cheap? Like, it's so much cheaper to fly out the next day. I'm just gonna, 2 hours later, I realized it was Mother's Day. So literally my flight left at 6 a.m. on Mother's Day. And, of course my mom had something to say about that. And I felt bad, like guilty, like I'm leaving my kids on Mother's Day. And I'm like, this is a great Mother's Day gift to myself. So I have had surgery. I'm 5 days post-op. I had the sleeve. My highest was 413. When the morning of surgery, I was 396. Going to Mexico too. Yay! Dawn, I'm glad that I did it. Yeah, I did end up spending a lot more than I think I wanted to, but just being able to do this and be one step ahead of the journey, I would still be taking nutrition classes right now and trying to lose the weight with everything that's going on in my life, and I would still be miserable. So I'm glad that I did it. But for me and my journey, it worked out. My mom she watched my kids. My mom's very complicated, but she's a great caretaker, and she's okay. I think she was still scared, but now that it's over, she's like, okay. I think she's worried, like, you have to eat differently. I don't want you to gain the weight back. I don't want you to have done this for nothing. Thank you, Don. And so I think, like any mom, I think she's scared. And I think the more knowledge, like I keep telling her, please do research, whatever you're worried about, do research, let me know, and I'll give you, more information that's going to help ease, your fears or whatever. But I think just as a mom, and I'm her oldest daughter, just feeling like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen to her. She's going to this third world country to get this surgery. She really wanted to go, but she didn't have the money. And then she wanted to go. No, that's not going to happen. And so then she was like upset that she couldn't be there. And feeling like, oh, I'd be able to get the doctors to give you a smaller needle. And she's a mom. She's a mom. So yeah, she's more supportive now. And so, what was I at in my story? After the injections, so I had to do the injections. So I went the day before. I went to Mexico the day before. I enjoyed the pool and we walked on the beach. And I think the hardest thing was still being on clear liquid diet. And there's so much good food out there and good restaurants. And because it's a resort and they do timeshares and it's all inclusive, like the moment you get off the plane, they're like, hey, have a drink. Hey, eat this. And I'm not a huge drinker. I drink socially. So that part wasn't too bad. But they have like welcome parties where you can eat, and I love food. So saying no to all of these foods. How old am I? I am 37, and I am from California, Northern California, from the Bay Area, but I live in Sacramento now. I did not go to Mexico Bariatric Center. I went to ALO Bariatrics, which is Alejandro Lopez Ortega. And I loved them. They were great. There was a couple other places that I was debating on, and something in my spirit just said to go with this one. It wasn't that I heard bad things about the other one. This is just the one that called my spirit, like, hey, this one is, you can trust this one, and I went with it. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Veronica, are you from the Bay Area too? I miss the Bay. I miss the Bay. I don't miss the prices, but I miss the Bay Area. The culture is so much different from here in Sacramento. So yes, I went a day before. Really, clear liquids was super hard. Clear liquids was way more challenging than I ever thought. I'm not gonna lie. I cheated a few times. I was really, and I'm super, super, like hyper, hyper anal about following directions and all of that. And there were so many times that I was weak, and I would have a bite of pizza, but I would have a bite instead of a couple slices. Um, yeah, it was the clear liquid diet has been the most challenging, that and the IV. So I went out there a day early, which if anyone is considering that, I would definitely recommend it. Just time to be able to get grounded. And originally my flight would have got there like 6 o'clock on Monday, and then I would have had surgery the next morning. And I just don't feel like I would have been able to get centered, and I feel like I would have been rushed into it. So I really needed that whole extra day. Getting there at 2 o'clock on Sunday just gave me like all this extra time to swim and just really like realize what was happening and all of those things. 2 weeks liquid diet once you hit your goal weight. You mean pre-op or post-op? Goal weight. I'm assuming you mean pre-op. So for me, it was, for the place that I went through, Ayla Bariatrics, it was 5 days out. Heather. Hey, Heather. Yeah, pre-op. Okay. I'm 5 days out, Heather. And actually I weighed myself yesterday and I was at 389. So I've lost 5 pounds, 5 pounds in 4 days. So, okay, back to the liquid diet. So clear liquid diet, very hard. For those people that are able to go the whole time, mine was a lot longer. I had, I think, 8 or 9 days of just clear liquids. And then I think I did 6 days of pre-op, which was like protein shake in the morning, protein shake at lunch, and salad with protein at dinner. So altogether, my pre-op diet was, I think, like 15 days. So like 2 weeks, basically. And the liquid diet portion of it was like 8 or 9 days with just having clear liquids. And yes, I did cheat. I don't think I did horribly. I think if you look at the fact that I wasn't supposed to have anything but clear liquids, then I probably didn't do too good. But I didn't. I definitely. I would just have a bite here and there. I went 3 days early because I'm from Georgia. I went to the zoo. It was amazing. Yes, Puerto Vallarta. It's in Nuevo Vallarta. It was absolutely beautiful. Um, oh, Ronnie. Hey, in Florida, working on steps to get your surgery. I think that's great. I don't think I mentioned this before. My ex, like 10 years ago, she she had talked about getting the surgery. We were both big then. And she was like, "Oh, I'm getting gastric bypass." And I was so against it. And I just, looking back now, like I almost want to call her and be like, "I'm so sorry." Because 10 years ago, I was like, that's taking the easy way out. And I mean, I also have my own issues with like her making the decision without me. Like, this is just what I'm going to do. And I was like, this should be a decision that we discussed together. Um, but I really didn't know what it entailed. And I just was like, oh, it's the easy way out, like a lot of people assume now. And I just wasn't, I don't think I was supportive of her. And she ended up getting the surgery after we broke up. We broke up for other reasons. But after doing all of the research, like education goes such a long way. And just the things that you don't know about, you end up having assumptions like getting it done in Mexico or getting it done at all. And when you don't know things, you just assume, like, oh, this is the easy tool. And here I am 10 years later getting the sleeve done. And so I just say, for anyone that's going through it, if not even for other people, just for yourself, educate yourself on what the process is, what it's going to entail. It is definitely not easy. I'll tell you about a mini breakdown that I had kind of leaving the airport. So yeah, not an easy journey at all. And I'm only 5 days in, so I can only imagine what is to come. Um, Yep. Veronica, absolutely. Listening to other people, oh, don't have that done. You can do it on your own. And then realizing the science of your body fighting to keep you at the biggest size that you are. I've been big my entire life. I don't even know what it's like to be average size. I was big from the time I came out until right now today. I've never been small. I've always been the biggest one in my group of friends. I've always been but it's never really affected me as far as confidence until more recently. I always felt like, okay, I'm still sexy, I can still do this. And then over the years, I became way more introverted and way more conscious of the weight that I was carrying around and fat phobia and all of, furniture not being fat friendly and just of anxiety and just going places and like, oh, I wonder if that chair is gonna hold me. Like, I think that's one of the biggest things that I can't wait to get rid of, and I hope I'm able to get rid of that. Is this whole like, oh, I got invited to this party. People that are throwing the party are skinny. They probably have skinny people furniture. And getting there and looking like at the legs on the chairs and not knowing like, oh, should I sit down, and sitting down very gently, like always conscious, even though I'm very big, I'm always conscious of my weight and my size and where I'm at physically and like sitting down very, very gently everywhere. Um, and just, I mean, airplanes is, but the whole furniture thing has been a huge part of my journey that has been horrible. Um, let's see. Sorry, let me catch up on. Oh, I could talk. This is part of my whys. Part of my whys is being able to feel confident and go to a party and not have to second guess if I want to go or go hang out somewhere because I won't be able to, the furniture won't hold me. Um, Last 4 years have hit me in my knees. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Theme parks. I used to love roller coasters. I don't even go now. My kids are like, oh, so we'll finally be able to go to Six Flags. I live very close to Six Flags and have not taken them because I'm like, they're going to want me to ride roller coasters with them. And I know that I'm not going to be able to ride. So I'm excited about that. Water parks, like I said earlier in the video, I love water. Being able to go on water slides is going to be amazing. There's so many non-scale victories that I'm looking forward to, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Um, so, um, so anyway, coming back, the resort was great. Everything was good. Doctors were great. They pulled out my drain. That felt really weird. My kids are, my son is 14 and my daughter is 11. Um, I've lost 130, gained 150. Mm, Ronnie. Yeah. Um, you know, I have to apologize like a million times for digressing so many times on this video. I was really just reflecting like how blessed I feel right now, but like all the comments and everything is bringing up so many other things. Um, so I talked about starting my private practice, and I've always wanted to focus on like, couples therapy. That's my passion. And I think I want to get certified to do the psych evals for bariatric individuals. Um, I think it's a really important process. I think a lot of people might like graze through it and I just feel like maybe that's something that I should do. I think. So anyway, that's a journey is to try to become certified to do the psych evaluations for bariatric surgery. Um, Ronnie, I know that you are probably scared, and I would say just keep doing research and do whatever's going to be good for you. Through the groups, I've met a lot of people that seem to have your same story and they were very successful. So definitely wish you the most success in your journey. Um, Thank you, Veronica. I'm so excited for myself. Post-op psych too, as well. Yes. I think that would be an area that I would be willing on working with folks as well. Don't really want to do a lot of single, like individual therapy, but I would definitely be willing on doing post bariatric clients or extreme weight loss individuals because losing the weight and that's it. There's so much psychological stuff that goes along with it. And, you know, they say the divorce rate and the breakup rate is super high. And if, like, me being able to help couples through that is really going to be where a passion is of mine. So, yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, I've heard a lot of horrible psych visits. And it just like it gives me cringes because I'm like, no, that's not how it's supposed to go, and you're giving us a bad name. Yeah, definitely gonna make that a part of my journey. Um, and I'm sorry to hear about your bad psych visit. Oh, mine was also a breeze. It's the lady that I was supposed to go to went on medical leave. She not medical leave. She had a baby, and so she called me and said, "Oh, I'm gonna have one of my associates work with you." And I'm like, "Okay, that's great." And the lady that I ended up meeting with had the surgery as well, and I mean, I'm a therapist. I knew what to say, but I also wanted to still be honest. And I felt like I was psychologically ready. I felt like I know what my addiction is to food and all of those things, but yeah, it was a breeze. I was just really, they're looking for, you know, do you have a support system in place? Do you know that this is going to be more than just, oh, I lose weight and all of my problems go away? They want to make sure that you understand that. And so, yeah, mine was definitely a breeze. Oh, yeah, I've heard, I think person had surgery too. Oh yeah, I think that definitely helps because they've been through it. And not saying that you can't be a therapist, a child's therapist and with no children and work with kids. Like I don't think that you have to have had surgery to be a good psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist, or whatever in this field. I do think that it helps because you've experienced it as well. So I'm sure the lady that I was supposed to go to initially, I don't think she had it because I asked the other lady. She said she didn't think so. She might be amazing at it. I just thought for me, it felt good knowing somebody that had had it. And she didn't disclose that in the beginning. It wasn't until the end when she said that, but I could kind of feel it throughout the whole evaluation. Yeah, I do feel like they can connect more and knowing, hey, you also kind of know how I feel because you were big like me once and you've gone through this and it's about this eval. And even being a therapist, I was probably a lot less nervous than a lot of people are, thinking that they weren't going to pass it. But I still had some nerves, like, what if they say this? What if they say that? And of course, it was all in my mind. But oh, I'm glad you have a good therapist currently. I think therapy is super. I'm very biased. I think therapy is amazing. Whether you think you have problems or not, I think it's amazing to have someone to talk to get different perspectives. I'm very, very biased in this, so you can never really ask me what my opinion is of therapy. I have a personal therapist. I also have a couples therapist that I see regularly, and I think it's great. How are my kids with the change up? They're good. I'm only 5 days out, and so I think they're getting used to it. I posted on Instagram last week, maybe a week and a half ago, when I was doing the clear liquid diet. My daughter had made something to eat, and I was sitting on the couch, turned, and I was like, "What is she doing?" And she was trying to eat without me seeing what she was eating, and I was like, "It's okay," but it feels good to, they're definitely trying to support me, and of course, my son, being the 14-year-old that he is, he's like, "Oh, I'll give you a bite of my eggs if you let me do this." I'm like, really, Josiah? Um, but they're good with it. I feel like they are very supportive of it, which feels good. A lot of people in the beginning were like, "Why did you tell your kids?" And why did you? I have a very open relationship with my children. I believe discussing, talking about everything. So although my daughter's not as open as my son, we do talk about everything. I ask them about everything. And yeah, we share a lot. And they're open to express how they feel and ask questions and be mad and fearful and all of those things. My personal belief is that that's healthy. So let's see. I remember my first week out. We had 5 days. I didn't even want to. Um, okay. I don't really know how to fix it. Let me see. Oh, sound is back. Okay, great. I was just saying I don't even know how to fix it or what to do about it. Okay. Um, Glad you can hear me. So I was saying the last flight was from the first flight, excuse me, Puerto Vallarta to LA was 3 hours. And I remember I got wheelchair service, but I also wanted to walk, but it was a lot of walking. So I got the wheelchair service, which was great because it got us like to the front of the line in customs and all that. So that was definitely a perk. I'm glad you hopped on today too. Definitely add me YouTube videos of my journey and trying all these gross protein shakes that I'm gonna have a hard time with. But I'm on IG as growing period smaller. If anyone wants to add me, feel free. I share a lot more on there, not video wise, but pictures and my journey wise. Um, so on the way back, I remember them pushing me, and we went through the food court. And I remember thinking, I'm not hungry at all. I'm not even thinking about food, but just going through and smelling like the pizza, and there was wings, and I hate wings, but I love the smell of them, and pasta. And I remember for a moment, I was like, fuck, I want a slice of pizza so bad. And I was not hungry at all. And I just remember thinking, like, I'm never going to be able to have pizza. And for a moment, like, I almost wanted to cry. Sounds hella dramatic, but it's my reality. Growing smaller. Yes, there's a period in between growing. Growing period smaller. Yeah, dot smaller. Hey, Dave. Thank you. Um, Thank you, Amanda. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I do hate wings. I don't like meat on a bone. I'm really funny about meat that's touching bones. So I can do boneless wings. I can do chicken strips, but I don't like meat on a bone. I'm 400 pounds. Well, I can't even say I'm 400 pounds anymore because I'm not. 389 pounds, and I'm super picky, and it doesn't look like it, but I love to bake, and I like all the wrong things, carbs, pastas, all that. Anyway, so I won't say that I had like a breakdown in the airport, but I just remember as I'm being pushed in this wheelchair past all these fooderies, I'm like, fuck, I really want a piece of pizza. It's been really long since I had pizza. And just thinking about the cheese, I'm a cheese lover. Like, damn, I really want that. But I'm hungry. Um, oh, thank you. Thanks, Dave. Um, Trend Slender Lifestyle welcomes you. I'm really glad I've done this video. I was sitting here with my phone, like thinking for like 10 minutes, like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Should I go upstairs and get dressed? Because I'm not dressed. I have a blanket on me. Um, like, it just, what our mind does is our minds are very, very powerful. Um, and so that happened at the airport. And my pain meds wore off, which was okay. I can definitely feel the difference with the pain meds. It's something that you put under your tongue, it dissolves, and it kicks in like instantly within 5 minutes. And I remember at the airport, like chills, hella cold. Um, and I remember my partner like, it's not that cold. And I was like, probably because I'm being pushed in a wheelchair and you're walking and you have like the luggage and everything. That's probably why I'm freezing. Um, and so the second flight, 3 hour layover, you got to go through customs again once you get into LA. 3 hour layover, and then from LA to SAC is like an hour and something flight. And so the hospital gave me these compression stockings to minimize blood clots. So I put those on that morning. And like in the middle of the second flight, the one on like my left leg rolled down to my knee, and I felt like it was cutting off my circulation, and I was in pain, and I was super cold. Um, and I just remember like I started feeling nauseous, and then I came home and I woke up and I think actually I have the flu. So I think that played a had chills. I haven't been sick in over a year. I'm not a very sickly person. And yeah, like fever, chills, trying to stay hydrated, figuring out what I can have. Congested. I'm super congested right now. Y'all probably can't hear because you don't know what I sound like when I'm not congested, but I'm super congested right now. But I'm feeling a little bit better today than I was yesterday. So I've been sipping on water. My partner made Jello for me yesterday, and I had the broth from Progresso chicken noodle soup, which was delicious. But just not hungry, and I have to really tune into when I see like commercials on food, like y'all. Last night, I'm catching up on my shows because I've been in Mexico, right? So I'm watching Little Women in LA and Atlanta, right? So I'm watching these shows, and this commercial comes on, M&M's, hazelnut. I absolutely love hazelnut everything. Like Ferrero Rocher is my favorite candy. So I'm like, what? There's a new M&M, and I'm like, fuck, this had to come out like right when I have surgery. I can't even try it. Um, but yeah, so I'm sitting up watching these commercials, and I'm like, oh, I really want that right now. And so really having to check like, am I hungry, or is it my mind? Like, is it my addiction to food? And it's absolutely my addiction to food. I'm not hungry. I could probably go the whole day without eating. I just have to remind myself like, hey, eat. So I'm one of the ones that when they cut away that part of my stomach, they really did, I guess, cut away the hunger hormone. I don't know. Um, but I have not been hungry. My mind has been hungry. Absolutely has been hungry. Um, I love sandwiches. The kids were eating sandwiches yesterday, and I was like, oh, that sounds so good. Sounds good. My stomach, I don't really want it. I'm not hungry, but it sounds good. And food is such a social thing. Such a social thing. You know, every birthday in my family is celebrated with going to the person's favorite restaurant and eating, and me baking everyone's favorite dessert, and lots of my food that I've food that I've baked, and lots of work is like, oh, my staff did a really good job. I'm going to buy pizza for everyone, or I'm going to bring in a cake for this person's birthday. Food is just so social. And so getting that mindset that you're going to have to change what food means to you is, is a huge aspect of it. I had the sleeve. Um, yeah, I have the sleeve. Oh, the blanket fashion. Thank you. Yes. I'm gonna go back up and um, I'm almost 4 years out. Congratulations. I had between 10 and 15 pound regain. Yeah, I think that's amazing. Congratulations, Amanda. And 10 to 15 pounds, I will be so happy. You know, instead of I gained 100 or I gained like 60 pounds over this, like I definitely understand that it's a tool and there's going to be regain, and I'm going to have to do like the pouch resets and all of those things. But I'm happy to feel like myself in my body again. And I've always wanted to do yoga, always wanted to do yoga. I said early in the video, I'm a huge energy person. Um, I've always loved the idea of being grounded and balanced. And I know people have continued to tell me like yoga is for anyone, any size. I follow people on YouTube that are like bigger women that do yoga, and I'm just like awed by them. Um, I love it, and I always danced as younger. I did ballet, tap, hula, hip hop, dance. So I've always been into movement and all of those things. And I just have gotten away from that as I've gotten older and bigger and busier and all of those things. And so I'm just looking forward to doing yoga, and my daughter wants to do it. And um, yeah, so that's another thing I'm excited about. Taco business. Oh yeah, Veronica. That's tacos are so good. Tacos are so good. And I'm looking, I just like I've added some people on Instagram that's like the low carb, cut the carb flat breads or something. So I'm just starting to like get it while I'm not eating foods, get into the mindset. Okay, these are just small changes that I'm going to have to make. I don't do good as a person. I know me. I don't do good with absolutes. I don't do good with you could never have this. As far as like I believe in the harm reduction model. For anyone that knows like about substance abuse and all of those things, I don't do good with you can never do this again. And that it works for some people. I'm not one of those people. So I can't be one of those. I know I read a lot of food police on these on these groups, and a lot of people like you can never have that again. This is how you got this way in the first place. That's not me. I know that just like with the clear liquid diet, I didn't binge on 3 pieces of pizza, but I did have a bite. And after that bite, I was able to be like, okay, I got that pizza flavor. I'm good. And so I know that that's going to be part of my journey, is not saying you can never have this again, but you can't go crazy with it because you will end up back where you were. And so just having to remember that and knowing that I can still make German chocolate cake from scratch and pound cake and cheesecake and all of those things. But instead of making the whole thing and having a couple slices and keeping it around the house, I will now give it away to someone and take like a half a piece. And that's just what I know that I have to do that's going to work, because there is still fulfillment and enjoyment in baking that and having that taste. So y'all wish me luck on that journey, because yeah. Candy, y'all are both getting sleeved on Wednesday. Oh my God, congratulations. That's gonna be my alarm just went off to remind me to take my antibiotics. I have 2 more doses. Yeah, congratulations, Candy. That's gonna be great. Y'all can go through this together. Belly dancing is, and I love big women that belly dance, is so sexy to me. I've just never felt comfortable doing it in front of other people. But I think that's great. Yep, everything in moderation. So my partner is also a big guy, and he has talked about this journey. He's actually considered it for many years. I'm his guinea pig. He go through this to see how it is for me. And so while he has the luxury of saying me go through it, I have the luxury of saying, you better be nice to me because when you go through it, I'm going to remember that. And so, yeah, he's leaning towards going down the same path and having the surgery as well. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. So this is what my journey has been like so far. Again, if y'all haven't heard before, I am 5'9.5". My highest weight was 413. I will never be 400 pounds again. I feel like I can say that with certainty. Oh, I know a lot of people can't wait to get to Wonderland. I'm in the threes and I'm just excited to get to the twos. So I'm happy. Going on my 11th month. Oh, 6 months. Okay. Kara, congratulations on being on your 11th month. Yeah, I think just looking into what are some small changes that you could do. I'm a huge believer of baby steps. Not even having to do anything drastic, baby steps. Maybe cutting out soda. Maybe if you're snacking 10 times a day, maybe 5 times a day. I'm also a therapist, and I'm always going to talk about like minimizing and taking baby steps towards your goal. And yeah, I mean, I think you can definitely do it. You went through the hard part of having the surgery and you've gotten through 11 months, maybe just changing 1 or 2 things. And I think support is huge. And it always, because I was feeling so blessed looking at my daughter, like sleeping on the couch and feeling like, oh, I had someone that could watch my kids in Mexico. And I know a lot of people have it worse than me and a lot of people have it better than me. But just feeling blessed at where I am in the moment and needing to have something to look back on when I am feeling like, why the fuck did I do this? Excuse my language. I also cuss a lot, but I've been very good during this video. So yeah, this is my journey so far. And I'm excited for it. I'm scared. I'm nervous. Where did I have my surgery done? I went through ALO Bariatrics in Mexico. They have 3 different locations that you can get it done. One in Tijuana, one in Guadalajara, and one in Puerto Vallarta. And I went to Puerto Vallarta. And it's Alejandro Lopez Ortega. Amazing. I will go through them. Although I know there's a lot of good ones out there. I have a really close friend that went out there. She went to another place that also seemed very good. Just do your research. Choose the place that's the best for you if you're considering going to Mexico. I'm headed to Monterrey tomorrow for ours. Oh, Monterrey is so beautiful. Congrats and good luck. And I'm sending you lots of positive and healing energy. Candy, you're going to be great and fabulous. And yeah, I wish you well on your journey. Let's see. I think I talked about everything so far. There's so many other. I'm such a pre-planner and like I stocked up on. I think I have 30 water packets and a whole bunch of Jellos and a whole bunch of sugar-free Jello puddings and I ordered like from Bariatric Pal. I'm the type of person I need variety. And so I ordered a box of the month, so I'm thinking it's going to arrive in a couple days, so then I'll be able to open it, but I'm not going to be able to eat anything for a couple weeks now. My post-op diet is 1 week of clear liquids, and then 1 week of full liquids, and then 1 week of pureed and soft foods, and then the 4th week is trying like tuna, introducing new food. So it'll be a while before I can try anything. But yeah, for any of you that are whatever stage of the journey you're in, it's going to be a journey and it's going to be a learning process. Whether you're contemplating weight loss surgery, whether you've already started doing your research, you've already got a date planned, you're already in your pre-op diet, or you're after. It's a journey, and it's a learning experience, and it's different for everyone. 5 days. So I feel like I'm a baby sleever. I don't even know if that's a term, but I'm going to say I'm a baby sleever because today is 5 days out. I had my surgery on Tuesday. Um, yeah, so I wish all of you the best of luck in your journey. I'm more than willing to answer any questions of anything that I can talk to you about. I'm not a year out. I'll be happy when I'll be a year out. I'm very excited for all the things that's to come. But if you have any questions, definitely feel free to ask. I'm a pretty open person. Um, yeah. And for anybody that didn't hear, if you want to add me on IG, um, I do a lot more of my journey on there through pictures. I'll probably start doing videos just to capture my journey, something for me to look back on, part of my own journaling therapy. It's growing, GROWING, period, SMALLER, smaller. That's on Instagram. And yeah, thank y'all for tuning in and listening. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Candy. I appreciate it. Oh, you're a week and 5 days out, Samantha. How is it for you? How are you doing? Do you still have that? Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, thank you. Um, yeah. Trying to think. I just realized I had my TV volume up, and I feel like maybe that was a little bit rude. I don't know how loud it was. But so if there is nothing else, I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to take my antibiotics and drink some water because I haven't drunk any since the video started. And I know I need to stay hydrated, especially with, oh no, again. Oh, let's see. Okay. Yeah, there is a pain in the right side that almost feels like it's pulling on the muscle. Um, are you on clear liquid still? Thank you, Don. I will do more videos. Oh, good. You're getting your liquids and protein in. I haven't started getting protein in yet. I am struggling with the protein shakes. I've always struggled with them, even when I started the process a long time ago. So great. Glad the sound is back. Don, good luck on your journey. I know you'll do great. Um, okay, cool. Um, yeah, Samantha, I'm glad you're feeling good. I'm dreading getting this protein down. I do have Gene Pro. I know they say it's tasteless and flavorless. I can still taste it. I also kind of think I'm a super taster, but that could be in my head. Um, so I think I'm gonna do like Jello shots because it's 30 grams of protein for one scoop. So I kind of think I'm gonna make Jello shots and just do one Jello shot every morning when I get up. I can drink a shot of anything. I just can't sip on protein drinks all day. And so maybe doing like a Jello shot in the morning with 30 grams and maybe one in the afternoon to get most of it in. So far, that's what I'm thinking is going to work. I don't know. Still on liquids, instant potatoes or egg whites. Okay. Okay. How was that first bite of egg? I'm just wondering. Like, or like that first bite of applesauce or cream of wheat. Like, I'm looking forward to being able to have like cream of wheat. Um, oh, Lisa, that's good. Share with me your surgery date when you get it. I would love to hear it. Just the whole weight loss family has just created this whole like um, a whole another group of people to that are super supportive and for the most part. Um, Not really a fan of the food Nazis. That's like, I can't believe you're eating this. That's so stupid. I'm like, why does it affect you? Don't let it affect you. Don't let it get you all riled up. If that's their journey and it works for them, let it work for them. If it doesn't work, then they'll figure out whatever does. So, other than the food Nazis, yeah, I love the. I'll get my surgery date this week. Hey, Linda from Norway. Hey. So yeah, I'll definitely do another video when I did shoot a YouTube video already. I just haven't posted it. My nerves and my confidence have kept me from posting it. I did a video 3 weeks ago and I went through all of the Syntax protein powders and tried all of them, and it's like an hour long and I just haven't posted it yet. So, yeah, I think maybe if there's a way I could turn this into a YouTube, then I could post it since I've already done it and people have already seen it. Then I feel like, okay, I don't have anything to lose. I don't know. I made egg white muffins. It was okay. I could only eat a few bites. Yeah. Um, well, I'm looking forward to scrambled eggs. That's like one of my favorite foods is scrambled eggs. So really breakfast food in general is what I probably miss the most. Um, so I'm looking forward to it. Um, Even if it's only a few bites, I'm just looking forward to that flavor and being able to taste something other than chicken broth and jello. Um, but yeah, I wish all of y'all the best in your journey. I'm actually, now that I know how to text while I'm on here, I'm going to add my Instagram. I'm just on Instagram a lot more. I can respond to people better. Um, so if y'all want to add me on there, um, thank you very much, Linda. Um, but yeah, I'll definitely come back and make more videos, and um, I might even do like interviewing my kids about their journey just to kind of give them voice and make them feel like they're more a part of it. I don't know. My daughter would do it. I don't know. My son's very camera shy. Um, Son advocates my stats. I don't know what all stats you're talking about, but I'm 5 days post-op. I had the sleeve done in Mexico. I am 5'9.5". My highest weight was 413. When the day of surgery, I was 396. As of yesterday morning, I was 389. Um, Absolutely. Feel free to add me, Angela. Yep, please do. Um, Samantha, you snuck a few things you shouldn't have. Girl, let me tell you, and don't tell nobody else this. There's only 14 people listening. So, when I was in Mexico, okay, and all of y'all that have an issue with this, I'm fine with that. You could come for me if you want. Um, I ordered this chicken noodle soup and the cilantro, and the cilantro flavor was just so good. And I chewed like a huge piece of chicken and spit it back out in the napkin. And I know that they say that's the new eating disorder. I just wanted to taste the chicken and feel the chicken in my teeth, like chew something. I spit it out. I was fine. I didn't consume any. I feel like this is a learning process, and no one is perfect, and we are all going to do things that maybe we shouldn't do. Um, that's just what it is. And I probably shouldn't have done that, but I did. And I wasn't mad about it afterwards. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna do things. We're still human. Um, I still like food. um, Hi, Lindsay. Um, yeah, definitely send me a friend request. The love, I appreciate it so much. Um, yeah, we are only human for real. And anyone that expects us not to be or to be perfect throughout this journey is clearly out of their mind. And so I am ready to catch a whole lot of backlash from some of the people in the groups about, you're not supposed to have that. Why would you have that? How did you get this way in the first place? And it is what it is. My journey. So, um, thank y'all for listening. I will definitely do more videos moving forward in the future. I appreciate the support. If I can be of support or anything to any of you, please feel free to hit me up. I don't know what my goal weight is. Um, Sexy as fuck is my goal weight. I've always said I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be smaller. I also don't pay attention to the BMI thing because I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Um, at this point, I'm happy with 250, but I'm sure once I get 250, I'm gonna want to be 200. I don't really know about going under 200. Um, but if it happens or that's where I'm supposed to be, then that's what it is. But I really don't have a goal weight, to be honest. Sorry. um, oh, refried beans with salsa. That was probably good. Hmm. Did you add cheese to it though? Oh, that would have taken it up so many notches. Why did I have the surgery done in Mexico? Because of insurance stuff. I kind of talked about my journey a little bit. In the beginning, I went through the process and was 8 pounds away from having the surgery. My insurance changed and I would have had to start. Now that I know about continuity of care, I probably wouldn't have had to, but that's neither here nor there. I gained the weight back and it was just an insurance thing. And then I didn't want to wait a whole another 8 months to a year to be able to get the process done. So I had money saved up and I decided to do it in Mexico, and I'm glad I did it. I've been in hospitals a couple times, and the service I got down there was way better than service I've gotten out here. So, yeah. Um, yeah, sexy as fuck is my that is that is my that is my goal weight. Yes, I had cheese and it was delicious. Oh my god, I can't wait. I'm gonna live vicariously through you because I put cheese on everything. And I just can't wait to have like scrambled eggs with cheese or even like cheese in my cream of wheat, something. Um, hey, Anastasia. Y'all for tuning in. Here we go with this journey, with this ride. I'm ready. I am ready. And hats off to everyone that has gone through this journey. It is not fucking easy. And I challenge anyone. I won't say I'm secretive about my weight loss. I didn't tell my staff, so I have 14 staff at work. And I didn't tell them until the last minute. I think just because I didn't want to hear like, why Mexico? And actually when I told some of them, they're like, oh, one of my staff, okay, I love her to death, but ignorance, I tell you. She said, are they going to be wearing shoes in the operating room? Did you really just say that? So I just have to educate them. And I think in the moment I was hangry with and I didn't want to have to educate anyone. Like I was mad that I couldn't eat in the potluck. I wasn't really taking it out on anyone, but internally I was like, fuck, I can't eat this food. I can't do this. Like I'm not telling anyone, but it's never been my intention to be secretive about my weight loss. If people ask me, I had weight loss surgery. instruments on the table. I'm like, is that what y'all think I'm going to do? And she's like, did you do your research? I'm like, do you know who you're talking to? Like, I am the queen of research. Like, I'm also a professor. Like, I preach research. I'm very OCD when it comes to researching things to make sure that it's what I want for me and not for other people. And so I'm just like, people that just don't know. Like, it's just this idea that going to Mexico is like, oh my God, these people that aren't advanced, I'm pretty sure they have things that are more than advanced than us. Um, oh, sorry about the sound. Okay, volume gone again. So I was just saying that I don't know what part y'all missed. Um, so I was saying my staff, there was a few staff members that are very uneducated. And but it was an opportunity for growth. I'm always looking for that opportunity for growth. If you go to have surgery in Mexico, it's not some back alley butcher. It's not, there's horrible people in the States, there's horrible people in Mexico, there's great people in the States, great people in Mexico and other countries. Um, yeah, so, but I was just telling them, like, this isn't gonna be some, like, rats and stuff running across. Like, the hospital was so clean and the people were so hospitable, and I would go back so many times again to have it done again. But it's just that education piece and people not knowing. And then the other part of me that is very empathetic and human too, although I probably wouldn't have said that 10 years ago. If someone told me that they were going to Mexico to have surgery 10 years ago, I probably would have been like, why? Um, so I also have to remember that piece and kind of remember like how I used to look at it. And just through education, I don't look at it like that. Although I've always kind of, the countries are developed. And so I just think what people choose to say maybe in the moment, and it could be very offensive to some people. But like I said, learning opportunity, and now they know that that's not what it is. It doesn't have to mean that. And so yeah, I don't know. I was saying I don't know if you've ever seen any of the movies with Macy Gray in it. I can't remember what movie it is, but there's a movie where she's like performing abortions, and she's smoking a cigarette and drinking like wine, or drinking like vodka whiskey while she's doing it. And I'm like, is that what y'all think it's going to be? And one of my staff was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, that's not what it is. Um, and yeah, now she's laughing cinema service, and they did a great job. And that's, that was my partner. um, for Color Girls. Yes, that's the movie where she was, yep. That, I think that's what some people see when they see Mexico for surgery. And that's not what it is. There might be some clinics down there that are like not okay. Just like I know that there's some doctors that practice in the States that are not okay. So it's just that education piece. Let's see. So again, thank y'all for listening. I know I was going to sign out a while ago. Geraldine, for real. Um, Good luck on your journeys, and stay tuned for more videos. I will probably go ahead and post the one that I did of the Syntax protein drinks. I tried all 17 flavors after not eating all day during the clear liquid diet. Whew, it was not a good idea. My stomach was not happy, but I got to test all 17 flavors, so I'll probably post that video on YouTube. My YouTube channel is going to be the same, growing.smaller. Did I have the surgery alone or with a friend? I had it alone, but my partner went with me to Mexico, but I was the only one that had it. So yeah, feel free to add me on Instagram within a week. And now that I said it, I'm a woman of my word. I have to stick to it and post it. So like a buddy, yeah, I will post the video, Don. Thank you. I'm glad I could be informative. I'm glad it was a good video for y'all. I will be back with more videos.